Hey everybody, it's Russell. Welcome back to the channel. And on this video, I want to talk about the future of movies because I think I've seen it. I saw a screening of a film the other day. It was a private screening. And the cast in this movie is so amazing. They made me laugh. They made me cry. And I think this movie has the potential of being an American Graffiti and Dazed and Confused. Meaning these were films that featured a lot of new, fresh talent. And for years after these movies came out, this talent was in TV shows and movies, and it just launched all these careers, right? Now, here's the most amazing thing about this movie and this cast. They don't exist. These are all AI-created humans. They're fake. They don't exist. Now, is it possible in the future that you could create AI actors that could actually carry a movie? And will this movie come out? That a small movie will come out and people will see it. And then the big surprise will come that none of the actors in it were real. Could be the future, I don't know. But let's start with a very real actor. This is Alan Rickman, and most people know Alan Rickman from Die Hard and the Harry Potter movies. Now, unfortunately, Alan Rickman passed away in 2016. But the other day, Google featured him on its art on their website, and it made me. And he started to trend on Twitter, and I just started thinking about all the great Alan Rickman performances and how great an actor he was, and it raised this question for me: should digital actors live forever? Could you create a digital Alan Rickman that could be acting in movies today? Yeah, interesting question, don't you think, Alan? Now, don't roast me in the comments for this, but the night before this Google with Alan Rickman came out, I had a dream and Eugene Levy was in it. And I was hanging out with Eugene Levy and some of his other comedian colleagues from the 70s. And they were all joking with Eugene Levy that, hey, he was going to take care of everybody because of his, his latter career success with the American Pie movies and and Schitt's Creek. And one of the people that Eugene Levy used to act with on SCTV was John Candy. And this guy was a great actor, great comedian, and unfortunately passed away in 1994. And in the dream, I'm telling, Eugene Levy, like, hey, did you hear they're going to make a sequel to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Now, this is just in the dream. It's not a real sequel. And Eugene Levy says, oh, interesting. Well, who's going to play John Candy? And I said, it's going to be a CGI John Candy, that they're going to create John Candy in a computer. And this idea of creating, bringing actors back from the dead and creating CG versions of them is not new. In fact, for years, I've always wanted to have a character, and he was going to have a business card, and his job was Marilyn Monroe's ass. And the idea was he was a digital artist, and Marilyn Monroe, as a digital actor, was in movies today. And this guy's job at where he worked and helping create these digital actors was his specialty was Marilyn's walk. That he would tweak the walk so it would just have that right Marilyn Monroe look. Hence his business card. His job was I'm Marilyn Monroe's ass. So this idea of bringing actors back from the dead, I remember it came out in 1992 in a Coors Light commercial, and that's Lee Emery holding the Coors Light, and he's dressing down as Marines, like, whose beer is this, right? Well, then John Wayne steps up and he says, why, it's my beer. And Lee Emery, of course, becomes very friendly at that point. And this was somewhat controversial because they took his performance, the John Wayne performance from a movie, and essentially cut it and pasted it in this commercial. And the controversy was, well, would John Wayne want his, image to be selling beer? And, times when this comes up, when we bring actors back from the dead, a lot of times they die during the filming of that production. This happened with Brandon Lee during the filming of The Crow, and more recently, Paul Walker, when the Furious 7 needed to be finished after he had passed away. And this is done out of necessity, so I think people cut these films a lot of slack. Otherwise, the film just couldn't be released or have such major plot holes that it wouldn't work. Now, think of this instance. Another Fast and Furious actor, Dwayne Johnson. Now, Dwayne Johnson is a huge movie star. And what if he wanted to be a huge movie star for the next 20, 30, 40 years? And he wanted to be in his prime as a movie star, not one of these people starring in movies in their 70s and 80s. Could he, right now, create a digital version of Dwayne Johnson, a digital version of The Rock? And they try to make it as photorealistic as possible, and he gets all the motion capture and his voice and dialogue and words and mannerisms. And he lists like, well, these are the films that I would agree to be in and films I refuse to be in the future. So when people are making decisions which, movies to put the digital rock in, they'll have his input. And there's no real moral question at that point of whether it's morally okay to put Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a movie, because he agreed to do this from the beginning. He was in on it, and he set parameters of how he wanted to be depicted in movies. And if you think this is some sci-fi idea, it is going on today. Look at the new Indiana Jones movie. There's Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford in the prime in like 1981, and there's Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford now making this new one. And if you look at the headlines, they talk about how they use digital effects to de-age him, I guess for parts of the movie. And I don't know exactly how they're doing it. I've also heard with stunts, they used his face on stunts to make the movie more exciting. And this has also been done with the Ant-Man movies. You see there's the younger Michael Douglas compared with the current Michael Douglas, that they have flashbacks that they filmed. It was done in Rogue One, and some people liked it, some people didn't. But with Peter Cushing and Grand Moff Tarkin, and then also with the young Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher, and then even in The Mandalorian with Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, they use computer graphics to create the younger version of the actor. Now, sometimes this doesn't sit right with people. I don't want to see this fake stuff. It doesn't look right. Well, there's a $1 billion movie out right now, Super Mario Brothers, and it's a CGI movie. Everything in it is fake. It's all created by a computer, except for the voices that the actors do. And this thing just made $1 billion. And look at some of the movies it's joined in these, the pandemic box office, like Avatar. Those are CG characters. They're not real. They were done with motion capture, but they're CGI. And then the Spider-Man movie, a lot of those Spider-Man effects are all digital. It's just that he's in his Spider-Man outfit and you don't notice it. And if you think, well, I don't like the way that actor looked, it doesn't look right. Well, this was Mario in 1981, and this is Mario in 2023. And look what they've done in 42 years with the Mario image. Do you not go see the Mario movie because he doesn't look like the Mario that you knew in 1981? No, it doesn't matter. They're characters. And it's going to be an interesting thing going, what is a character? What is an actor? What is a human being? I don't know. It's going to get kind of mashed up, and it's mashed up in these YouTube clips. Have you ever seen these deep fakes with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, where they put their faces in other movies? Like this one is for Step Brothers. This one is an old-timey movie. I don't know if that's Chaplin or Laurel and Hardy, but there's an old-timey movie that they put Stallone and Schwarzenegger in. And here's even Dumb and Dumber, where they put them in, making comedies with these things. So it's this interesting idea of creating these digital actors. But could you take an old dead actor, someone like James Dean, and put him in a new film? Well, in 2019, this was going to be done for a Vietnam War movie called Finding Jack. They were going to make a digital version of James Dean and put him in the movie. And people were like, well, was this, movie magic or the dark arts, right? And there were a lot of headlines about this in 2019. Is it, are they actually going to, make this movie or not? I've heard mixed things, like people saying, will it ever be released? Some people say it's canceled. I looked at these, comments. These are just comments. So I contacted Magic Films, and they said that they were impacted by COVID, and they'll announce the release schedule and production dates very soon. So the movie isn't canceled, it's just delayed. Someone else writes, I think Rogue One taught a lot of filmmakers and studios to run screaming in the other direction when someone suggests using CGI people in a film. Like again, some people liked it, some people didn't, but Rogue One was a successful movie. And then this person, Holly Haywood Peace, writes, I'm personally waiting for the new Humphrey Bogart movie, Take My Money, and Icy Zookeeper Game 750. Rogue One was the best Star Wars movie made. Now, I don't know if they're being sarcastic or not, but I like Rogue One. I don't think it was a bad film. But this idea, if you don't think people, they don't want to see these fake humans, that they can't be tricked. Well, look, this is just a headline from a few days ago. AI-generated woman successfully tricks Reddit users into paying for her nudes. So this is a fake, I guess this is a fake, AI-created human, and it was like an OnlyFans, and people would pay for the nudes of these fake nudes. So we can be faked by these fake humans, and we can be attracted to these fake humans. That's what the supercomputers create. And this is actually a plot of a 2002 movie called Sim1, where an actress didn't want to finish making a film, so the producers created a computer-generated actress and finished the film, and the film becomes a big hit, and everybody wants to know about this actress, but they can't tell them that it was a fake actress, that they don't want to do that. So this idea, could you come out with an American Graffiti type film? And American Graffiti, it launched the careers of Ron Howard, Cindy Williams, Richard Dreyfuss, Harrison Ford were all stars in this film, and all this young talent, and they went on to these huge careers, after that. Same thing with Dazed and Confused. It had Ben Affleck, Matthew McConaughey, Parker Posey, Milla Jovovich, and there were so many more people, and they would go on for movies and TV shows. Could you have an American Graffiti and a Dazed and Confused, where instead of just inserting a digital actor in with a bunch of real actors, you would have the whole cast would be of the computer generated actors, whether they were old stars or new stars, but you're not comparing fake to human, you're just comparing fake to other fakes. And could people like enough of these actors that they would have careers? So could you make a Roger Rabbit type film where the fact that none of these people exist or they're created plays into the movie, so you're more accepting of the movie? You would have this cast of all these, created AI people with created AI voices and the AI imagery, and which ones could actually have careers? Which ones would people actually see in other movies? Who's your favorite? Who do you like? And you go to the computers and you can say, what? Create me a leading man. Here's James Dean, here's Brad Pitt, James Franco, Leonardo DiCaprio. They all look very similar. Create that guy for me that I can put in this film. Or you could create digital versions of all these guys in their prime and make like a big buddy film, right? Or you could take actresses like Marilyn Monroe, Michelle Pfeiffer, Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lawrence, and say make the combine these faces and give me an actress. Or again, you make the computer generated version of all these actresses and they could all act together in a film. Same thing with these legendary character actors, Humphrey Bogart, Robert De Niro, Jack Nicholson. Get these guys in their prime, put them on screen. Could you create digital versions of these characters, or come up with a character actor, with these faces? Or if you did take these legacy movie stars, James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, and Humphrey Bogart, have them star in like a love triangle movie for the first time on screen, acting together. James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, these legends from the 50s. Now, if you're a movie studio, right, you must be thinking about this. That, you deal with, whether you wanted to deal with new stars or old stars, but you're dealing with these actors, and actors can get really expensive the more successful they are, right? And you could get priced out of the market and not be able to use them anymore. Well, what if these movie studios started to create their own actors, and they own these artificial actors, the voices and the faces, and they own them just like an animated character, like a Minion or Mickey Mouse, or a Star Wars character like Jabba the Hutt, that they own this character, and it doesn't get old. It doesn't age out. It doesn't make political statements or go nuts on Twitter or have mental breakdowns. It's a character that you own, and you can keep using them in any amount of films you want for however long you want. Think of The Simpsons. They're animated. They've gone on for decades because you just need the voices from the voice actors, and the animation stays the same. They don't age out, right? So if you're a movie studio, is this the future of movies? You start creating your own stable of, AI created actors, and you just create your movies and your stories, and you find out which ones work and which ones appeal to people. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that, and probably a lot of actors don't like it, which is why maybe they would want to create their own digital versions and get in this universe and not get, pushed out by these studios that create these new actors, these new stars. I don't know. Is this the future of movies? Could you ever see this being a possibility? Is it a mix? Could you have a mix of this, going forward? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.